In this video, I'm going to show you how to create vendor bills. So when vendors give you their invoices and you need to translate it into a document on Carrotsuite with accounting implication, you create vendor bills. So to do that, once you've logged in, you are currently on the home menu, you go to accounting module. So from the accounting module, you click on bills, then create bill. So here is how to go about it. So first, the bill number, you can enter any bill number or you can leave it to auto generate. Then the date, this is the date on the vendor invoice, and then the due date as well. Then next is for you to enter the vendor's data or to select the vendor from a drop down. So let's say we select Yomi Adewale Limited. So if the vendor doesn't exist, we can easily add the vendor through this pop-up. So this is just a shortcut way of registering vendors while creating bills. So and it's easy to fill it. Then next is discount percent. You can leave out this. Then related item has to do with the cost center, like maybe it's relating to a particular location or maybe it's relating to a particular item. So you select whichever one applies from here. Even if it's relating to any particular asset, you select it from here. Then next thing is to add the items on the bill. To add the items on the bill. So this checkbox here is direct cost. So this is applicable. This is applicable when what you are the bill or the vendor invoice is central to the costing of the item. That is, if you're selling the item. But otherwise, if it's not for sale, it's for production, then you can ignore it. Then for each item you're adding, you can select a related item. So for example, want to add 3 items, 4 items on this bill, you can select related items for each of them. You can select related items for each of them if it applies. So in the case where it's the same related item for all of these items, you can leave it this way. Let's say you receive a vendor invoice, you're running projects in 3 different locations, and you receive a vendor invoice containing goods for 3 different locations. This is for location 1, this is for location 2, this is for location 3. In that case, you have to select related item location 1 in the first one, location 2, location 3, just the way it is on the vendor bill. That's what this related item is for. So that at the end of the day, you want to see income statement for a particular location. It's going to help you itemize inclusive of all the costs that has been incurred in that location through related items. So the next thing is to select the category of the items you want to add. So items here are divided into 3. You have inventory items, that is when you are selling the item. That's when you use inventory items or inventory category. Then you have non-inventory items, meaning items that you cannot stock, like services. You can't stock services. Then you have material items. That is items that is being used in the course of production. For example, sand, cement, stone. You're not selling them. You're just procuring them to be used to build. So those are material items. So it's the distinction is very important. Inventory items, items you're selling, inventory categories of items you're selling. You still have to sell it to someone who will pay a higher price than what you paid. Non-inventory items, items that you are selling or maybe not even selling, but then they cannot be stocked, like services. Then you now have material items. So items that you're using for production. You get, so all of these items are represented here. So you can select inventory category or non-inventory items category, or you can select material category. So then you can also add if it doesn't exist currently. You can see select here. If I click on it, it gives me 3 options: inventory item, non-inventory item, material item. So if I select material item from here and I add, let's say, uh, I add stones, and then I save. So this becomes a category under material categories. You can see it's stones. So now the name of the item. This is where you enter the name of the item. So under this category, there is no name. So before you can select item, you have to select category. If you don't select category, you can't select item. So now we have added stones as a category. Now, what is the name of the stone? That's what this means. Let's say you added steel rods. What is the size or the dimension of the steel rod? Let's say you added even let's say even if you added something like plumbing materials. Now, what is the exact material that you are procuring or that the vendor gave you on the invoice? So this is where we register this. So let's say add, that's if it doesn't exist, and obviously it doesn't exist here. We click on add. Let's say big stones. Let's use this name. Save category. Then next thing is to enter description. So description is optional. I can say purchase of three purchase of three tippers of big stones. So quantity, let's say, like here I wrote three tippers of big stones. Let's say tipper is our unit. If I say three, for instance, three, so that's three tippers of big stones. So let's say one of them is costed differently. So we'll go to rate and say, let's say it's 150,000. So that's rate, and then we enter quantity 3. So once we click here, it will update the bill summary totals here. Then next thing, if there's a discount on this particular item, you can apply it here, or a discount percentage. So if we enter 10 here, for instance, it's going to automatically give us the discount amount. Let's say 10, and we click, it gives us the discount amount here. So VAT type, if VAT is applicable, then you select VAT here. Otherwise, you leave it. Then this account, I advise you leave it as it is, because it automatically picks an account to post this transaction. On the one hand of it, on the credit side of it, is your account payable, while on the debit side of it is, in this case, it's going to be like an inventory account for this particular item. So if you're adding multiple items, you still click on add item again, and then if you are still adding another item, click on add item. Otherwise, you have to remove, make sure there are no empty sections. So like this, we write description. I can just copy what is here, put it here. Purchase of 3 tippers of big stones. So payment terms in this case doesn't apply, but payment terms actually represent like the way the vendor wants to be paid. You know, there are instances where a vendor is like, okay, you pay us 10% on delivery of goods, then 30% after 5 days, then the balance after 1 month. So all of those payment terms can be customized in settings so that the application can help you to track it. So the next thing, we've not entered date, so we cannot save this. Let's say second. And then next thing, we create the bill. So now the bill has been created. So the next thing is to add payment to this bill. So this is the list bills page, the page that shows you, or the table that shows you all the bills you have created. And you can filter by different parameters. Like up here, you see purchase total, total paid, total outstanding. So you can see the recent things we worked on. We just worked on this one now. If I click on this number, it opens the bill for me. If I click on this number here, it opens the bill for me. So, and these are search parameters. So you can search by bill start date, bill end date to see all the bills you created between this date range. You can filter to see all partially paid, unpaid, or fully paid bills. So as the case may be, let's say we want to see all unpaid bills. We select it, we click on search. So it gives us all bills that have not been paid. We want to see all bills that have been fully paid. We select paid. Under payment status, we click on search. It shows us all bills that have been fully paid. So we can filter by related items as well, and it's going to show us all bills that were created and costed to a particular cost center. So we can also filter by branch if you're running a multi-branch system. Then you can also filter by vendor to see all bills from any particular vendor. So we go back. So now we want to want to apply payment to the bill we just created. So we are going to view the bill first. To apply payment, you need to view the bill first. So action, view. So it brings us to the bill we just created. You can see big stones, purchase of 3 tippers of big stones. And then next thing is for us to click on action at the top right. You're going to see add payment, quick pay, delete bill, print. So for all payment on this bill, it's going to show up under this payment voucher section. That's where you see all the payment you add to this bill or you apply to this bill or payment you have made to the vendor for this particular bill. It will appear under payment vouchers, and you can upload supporting documents here. Let's say you have documents you want to upload to support this particular bill. You can say supporting, can call it any name, supporting doc, then choose file. Let's say I choose any file here, open, then save document. So it saves the document to this document address successfully. So so to add payment to this bill, you click on the action, then you click on add payment. So there are two ways you can add payment. You can use this or you can use quick pay. So they are both the same thing. The difference is if we use quick pay, it shows us a pop-up and it's very straightforward. Like even if you have 15 items on the bill, you can easily pay off everything once from this pop-up. That's quick pay. And then you can even pay in installment if you pay the vendor in installment. On the other hand, if you use add payment, still the same thing, but then if there are 15 items, you're going to have 15 rows, and it works to actually help you to track, okay, you've made payment for this item and this item and this item, but these ones you've not paid for. So in cases where you want to track payment per item, you use this receive payment. But in cases where you want to pay off once or there is no need to track payment item by item, you use the quick pay. So to add payment, you select the date of the payment. Let's say second. You select the bank from where the payment was made. Then you enter. You can see the balance on this particular item here. You enter how much has been paid. Let's say 200,000. Then description. You can see part payment on vendor invoice. Then select payment method. Let's say pay stack. Then can disable this checkbox. Then next is to save it. So like this, we have made part payment on this particular vendor invoice. So if you go back to the bill list, you can see it's now showing partially paid. So if we click to view it, it shows us balance due. You can see balance has reduced. You can see the payment we just added here. So if you want to view this payment specifically, you can click on action, view. So it takes us to view this particular payment we just added. You can see it, invoice total 405,000, voucher amount like this, total amount paid on invoice like this. So then to also view all the payments you have, all the payouts you have done or you have made to all vendors or on all their transactions, you go to bills, bill payments. So on this page, you can see all payments you have made to vendors. You can see all the payments. You can filter between date range to see all payments. Also check filter by bank to see payments made out from any particular bank. So if you go back to this bill list, so I want to show us how that quick pay works. Let's go back to view. and then okay, action, quick pay. So here we're going to still fill, let's say, save second account. To select the bank the money was paid from, how much was paid. Let's assume the balance was paid, payment method, bank deposit, reference number if it exists, then description, completion of payment, completion of payment. Then we disable this because it's bill payment, then save. So now we have fully paid that particular uh, bill. So we'll go back to bill list. Now the bill is fully paid. Now we'll see it, the bill is now fully paid. So if we view that bill again, so the balance is now zero. So this is how to create bills and then apply payments. You can see the payments that were made plus the second one and the bank it was paid to. So this is how to create bills and apply payments. So you may want to also print this, or you want to delete the bill. To delete any bill, you need to delete the payment first. So you need to delete each payment, then come back to delete the bill. Thanks.